Beginning in a comfortable position, seated meditation, or sometimes in yoga we say sukhasana. Root down with your sit bones. Find a comfortable spot on your mat or the grass or the floor. And just start to connect with your breath here. Inhaling your arms up, exhaling the hands behind us, and just taking a nice stretch back, chin up, opening the heart chakra, allowing everything to just kind of settle in here. Rolling the neck side to side. Inhale those arms back up, wiggle the fingers, and take a side twist. Opposite hand to opposite knee, never forcing, always flowing. And just a nice little twist here to wring ourselves out. You inhale when you rise, and then take that twist the other direction. Exhale once again. Holding for a few breaths. Inhale, rise, exhale, twist. And if your eyes are closed, just the rhythm of your own breath here. Inhale, arms high, exhale, twisting. Inhale, arms rise, exhale, forward fold over your body, releasing any tension in the lower back. Make sure your jaw is not tight. Everything is nice and relaxed. Settling into this energizing practice that we need. This time to come to our mats. Good. Taking a side bend here, planting our right hand down, left arm extends up and over. Feel that nice stretch in the side body. Other direction now. Inhale, side to side. No more twisting, just a side bend, side to side here. Inhaling, exhaling, moving the spine. Taking both feet out now. Both feet are out in front of you, and hands plant behind as you lift your hips to the sky. This beautiful stretch through our hip flexors, our groin, shaking those legs out. And then one foot tucks inside. So tucking your right leg, your right foot inside your left leg, stretching over Janusirsasana or folded fold over that just one single leg. And then switch sides when you're ready. You might want to hold it for a couple breaths longer than me, whatever feels good to you. This practice is all about energizing your body from the inside out and reconnecting. So if I'm ever going too fast, take your time. Both feet come together now, butterfly. Feeling the stretch in those inner thighs. And again, tapping into that breath, that victorious breath that sometimes we forget about through the day. Just reminding ourselves here and now how important that is to breathe. If you want to take your hands underneath your legs and lift up, it's kind of a fun pose, just more of a playful pose. I think my kids even call this one flower pose, but it's optional. You can stay in butterfly or try to lift the legs up. And then we'll meet hugging our knees, feet are on the mat, and just rocking back and forth, add a little rock. A little cat-cow, stretching out the upper back here, arching and flexing. Starting to make our way to table, hands and knees. Knees under our hips, creases of our wrists under our shoulders. As we arch, we exhale. And as our chin comes forward, our tailbone goes up. We inhale as we come out for breath. And exhale. These cat-cows are a great way to create space in our spine and make room for new. Coming all the way up onto our knees, tall through the rib cage, side bends. Just gently grabbing a hold of a wrist and then maybe taking our right foot out as we side bend to get a little deeper into that stretch. And back to our knees and then the side bend the other direction. Optional here to take a foot out, a leg out, and just feel that stretch a little deeper. Open the chest here, interlacing the fingers back behind. You can always roll up your mat too if this is a little tough on your knees. Good. Half camel pose. We take our right hand to our hamstring or our heel. Both are optional. You can even take a hand to the lower back if that's too intense for you. And then taking that half camel the other direction, knowing you can place your hand lower back, hamstring, or heel. And then I'm just sweeping my arms forward for these half camel dances. Dancing with myself, inhaling and exhaling. Remember, this is an energizing practice. So the goal here is to breathe energy into our bodies, and then full expression of camel if it's available to you. Both hands down to heel, both hands to lower back. Coming on up, rolling those hips, getting any tension out. And then take your time here, standing up, and roll your mat if you haven't already, so that it's just a little more comfortable on the knees, so that we can grab our weights and start a little upper body work with our weights. If you don't have weights at home, it's okay. Take that right foot out, left knee is bent, and start to draw that right elbow down to the hip. So that weight is taking its time lifting up towards the left hand and then back down, the elbow towards the side body. My right foot is planted out as an option, and then come back down, bicep curls. And if bicep curls don't work for you on your knees, you can always stand up and do these. Keep those elbows tucked in so that you truly are feeling that extension and that flexion through the front of your arms. Now let's do the other side. So pop that left foot out. The left weight, the left elbow is going to come side body, and then press back up towards the right weight. Good. Feeling every movement. Yoga with weights, we're not moving fast. This isn't a fast moving Tabata class or even weight training. We're moving slowly through each of these poses with the weights as a complement here. Back to bicep curls. Good. Taking both weights back up. Second set here, but both elbows are going to drive down. So we're making a little W. And I popped my right foot out just as an extra stretch here. And I'm going to take elbows in for chest press. Just like we're doing a push-up, kind of, but we're using those weights. Feeling the chest engage, warming up the upper body still. With my right leg popped out, I'm going to drop my right hand down, lift my left arm up as a stretch. Good. Now just switching sides, popping my left foot out, left arm behind, right arm extends, and my gaze follows the weight. My eyes gaze follow the hand that goes up. Notice where you're feeling each stretch, each movement. Second set of chest here. So bringing those elbows in, opening like a goalpost, and pulling in each movement, intentional, energizing the upper body, the chest. No music today, just the sound of nature and you and your breath. Good. Standing up now, root to rise, ground those feet into the grass, the ground, the mat, wherever you're at. Take those weights up. And then forward fold, gently swan dive forward, and let everything be nice and heavy here. Feeling the tension again, release in that lower back. Planting your left hand, spinning the right to the sky. And then other direction. Plant one hand, lift hand to sky. My right leg is going to lift behind me for standing splits. For a little stretch. And then bring one foot forward and meet me in crescent. So you're going to be on the ball of your back foot, your front knee is bent, and then start to add some bicep curls. Good. So back to that upper body, but just with that bent knee. And then you can take that back foot, lift it up into airplane for tricep extensions. And if this balance doesn't work for you, if this is too challenging, too edgy, you can drop that back foot and take your tricep dips there. Good. Now pivot that back foot. Let's meet in Warrior 2. Warrior 2, that back foot is angled, that right toe is forward, and then I'm going to reverse my warrior. That weight comes up and over. Good. Meet me back in crescent. Back foot pivoted, front knee bent. All right, so dropping my weights here and coming into a really nice hip stretch. Both my hands are inside that knee, inside that leg. Whether you're on your forearms or your hands, feel that stretch in the outside hip. Oh, feels so good. Dropping back down to maybe our first plank here. Plank push-ups. Those elbows draw back. So it's not a push-up through the chest, it's a push-up through the back of the arm. Make sure those elbows are rolled in before we even try to come to up dog. Shine that heart forward, toes are on the mat behind us, and then push back up to down dog. In your down dog, make sure your gaze is between your legs. You can feel that stretch in your hamstrings, and then walk on forward to forward fold so your hands meet your feet. Let everything be nice and heavy. And let's switch feet with that standing split. So the left foot's gonna lift now behind us. Feel that stretch in the hamstrings again. And just make sure you're on the other side. So before we even start to try and do anything with the weights, make sure the opposite knee is bent, the opposite foot is back. And this time for our bicep curls, we're gonna curl up and then press up to do a little shoulder work. So it's a curl and a press. Curl and press. Make sure that front knee is bent. Never ever lock out that knee, and make sure that knee doesn't go over the toes. Now pivot into Warrior 2. That back foot pivots, reverse warrior. Weight comes back up and over. Good. Pivot back to that crescent. And then now add that airplane that we talked about before for those tricep extensions. And notice my balance wobbled a little. Each side is going to be different, so no judgment. It's okay if one side worked and another didn't. You do you. Good. Holding those triceps and coming on back to crescent. Doing the best we can today, meeting me in one of my favorite poses to stretch out the hip. Both hands come inside the knee, the foot, stretching that hip. And then when you're ready, come on out and meet me in yoga squat or malasana. Elbows come inside the knees, inside the thighs, stretching on up. Now, grabbing those weights, I'm lifting up with both of my feet pointed out, right and left, drawing those inner thighs together. This is inner thigh balance work. Holding those weights is an option. Up and down on the balls of my feet, feeling the inside, the interior legs draw together. A little Pilates bar move here as a part of our yoga with weights. And if that didn't work for you too, you can always just stay right in this yummy yoga squat. Dropping down the left hand, right arm extends up, gaze follows. Lots of stretching today. Maybe there's a bind available. Other side with that stretch, dropping our right arm, our right hand rather, and our left fingers up towards the sky. Coming back down onto our mats, I'm going to attempt crow pose here. So you can come into crow pose from the yoga squat position or come up just onto the balls of your feet. And the goal here is to try to get your knees on top of your triceps. And some days I can do it and some days I can't. So it really just depends on how stretched out you are. You can also lift your crow up to a handstand or keep your knees on top of your triceps just for an inversion. I like to just play here. So don't necessarily do what I did. Just take it at your level. Sometimes it feels good to just play and express ourselves. So this is a chance to play. Don't be afraid to try things as long as you're doing them safely. Pressing back into a down dog and just stretching it out, lifting my right leg behind me for three-legged. I'm just holding for a moment. Good. Now bringing that right foot back, finding my weights again. We are going to do a little chest work here. So squeezing the elbows in together, just kind of standing in a lunge position. Think about drawing the armpits in and bringing the elbows in together. And then find your balance again for airplane. Right leg lifts behind and tricep extension. So elbows stay locked next to the body as we push the weights back. Hinging forward slightly, palms are up. Just holding the weights. And then come on up to crescent and then warrior two. Arms in a T. Reverse your warrior. Back to crescent warrior, front knee is bent. And then into that dragon pose, that stretch where we bring both hands, both arms inside the foot. And you can just hold there for a second. I'm just readjusting my mat. Yes, good. Just holding, taking the tension out of your neck, feeling that yummy stretch through the hip. And then when you're ready, you can meet me back in plank, and we're going to add just some push-ups here. You can do push-ups on your knees if you need to, and then shine that heart forward with up dog. Take your shoulders off your ears, and then curl those toes back under to down dog. I'm moving kind of quickly through this. It's just a freestyle flow. Forward fold here, head is heavy. I love forward fold for back to release tension in my lower back. Good. Forward fold, left leg lifts. Just stretching out that left leg. And then again, meeting in this low lunge with the weights, adding bicep curls this time. Y'all know how to do bicep curls, I'm assuming. So just add some. Good stuff. Maybe you've got music playing in the background or you're just following along. Pivot to warrior two. Reverse your warrior. One arm comes behind and the other up and over. And now back to crescent. Find your balance. I lost mine, but it's all good. We're human, right? Find your balance for airplane tricep extension. Some days are better than others, guys. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't have my balance every day. Good. Hinging forward. And then bring the weights back up. Crescent. And dragon pose again. Arms, hands inside the foot, stretching the hip. Really nice work today. This flow is for energy, and I noticed a huge boost in energy after I did this. I just felt so much better. Coming back into yoga squat. Feet are pointed out right and left. Arms are inside. Grabbing my weights. And then rising up on the balls of my feet. More inner thigh love. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Love this one for the inner thighs. Weights are optional. Shake it out. Good. Now tree. Got a few trees behind me. So I'm tucking my right foot on top of my left knee. So never put your foot on your knee, always above or below. And then more balance work here. Making a tree, root to rise, grounding through the foot, lifting tall, opening the rib cage. All trees sway, so don't worry if you sway a little bit. And then grabbing the right ankle with the right hand, hinging forward. Nice. And just try to hold that beautiful quadricep stretch, opening up the hips a little bit. Good. King dancer, we call this sometimes as well. I love this stretch for quads and balance. And then dropping down to what looks like I'm supposed to be doing standing splits and then falling out. I think I was trying to get into half moon. I love half moon pose. If you want to see the alignment for half moon, you can look that up because it's a great pose to learn. Now, tree on the other side. Tucking my left foot on top of my right thigh, lifting up. Good. Find your balance, noticing each side a little different. And then that left quadricep stretch, just grabbing the ankle gently. And then you have to hinge forward a little bit if you want to kick that back knee back behind you. Yeah. You can fall down into a standing splits like I did, and then lift up that left arm, gaze follows for half moon. One side's a little bit easier today than the other. All good. This is not supposed to be perfect. Forward fold. I'm just so glad you're here and doing this with me, and let all expectations go. This recording is not meant to be the perfect yoga flow. We're just learning together, and it's a free flow. I don't even think I had a big plan here. I think I'm just feeling out what feels good today. Let it all go in this mountain pose. Root to rise once again. And then just hug your right knee. More balance. These balancing poses will energize us. And then that right knee comes back behind you for crescent. Pivot to warrior two. No weights through this time. That elbow comes to knee and the top arm comes up and over. Shine that beautiful face and heart and chest towards the sun. Good. And then balancing on that right knee, showing you half moon here from a different angle. There we go. So my right foot and my right hand are next to each other. Left arm extends to the sky, left foot out. Gosh, and some days are just better than others. I am having a hard time balancing today. Maybe that goes to show you why we need yoga, right? We come to our mats to find balance in our life, on our mats. It just feels so good to be here. Bring that left knee up, rotate that ankle. We're going to try it on the other side. Left foot comes back, low crescent. Pivot to warrior two, arms in a T. Elbow to knee. Left arm comes up and over. Back to warrior two. And that right knee bent, right hand comes down, left leg extends straight, left arm up. And you can use a block here too. I think that's kind of where I went wrong. I wasn't using my blocks today. Fumble and play. That's what we'll rename this. Really nice work, you guys. Okay, now grab a yoga block if you have one. If you don't, it's okay. We are going to do some belly ab work with our yoga block if it's available. Good morning stretch. Stretches out everything nice and long. And then our hands come behind our head on that yoga block if we have one. And these are just little crunches, crunch lifts. Now, the object here, the point of the yoga block is it forces our elbows to stay out. So our heart and our elbows are lifting towards the sky. And we have an apple, an imaginary apple between our chin and our chest, which is really going to make us think more about our belly. Now that yoga block or hand reaches to opposite foot. So long arm, long leg, meeting up, opposite reaches here. Just lifting and lowering. The yoga block's just kind of to play with. There's so many cool things you can do with the yoga block. So as you start to take my classes, we will incorporate those in. Good. Right ankle goes on top of the left knee. Yoga block back behind your head, and now opposite elbow to opposite knee. So these are just little side crunches. Take your time. Don't forget to breathe. Breath is such an important part of our practice. These little crunches up and over. Good. And just taking both feet back down to the ground and back to those crunches up. Lifting and lowering. Really nice work. Now, other hand that we didn't use before to opposite foot. So I've got my left hand extending to my right foot across the body, using that yoga block. Just playing with our belly work here today. And then my right ankle comes on top of my left knee and opposite elbow extends to knee. Cross the body, little crunches. And finish up wherever you're at on that side. Taking that yoga block between the knees now, I want you to lift the hips up. So I'm lifting up my toes and I'm taking my arms underneath. This is just a nice little stretch, half bridge stretch with the yoga block between the knees. Again, only if you have a yoga block. It's okay, you can do it without. And now hug the knees in. Big squeeze. Oh, beautiful. Good morning stretch once again. Stretching through the rib cage. Awesome. Now, half bridge pose without anything between your knees here. Just lifting those hips to the sky, feeling how nice that feels. You can add the yoga block under your lower back as well. It's a really nice resting place, and it feels so yummy. It's more of a yin stretch. I love to just lay here and feel the tension release out of my sacrum, my lower back. I could just stay here all day, I think. If you don't have a yoga block, you can go to Target and grab one out of the $5 bin or order one online. There's a million places. The dollar store, I think, even has one. So if you don't have a yoga block today, come back and do this practice again. Or even a rolled up towel would work. Take that yoga block out, laying on your back. Make sure your head and neck are nice and cozy as we open our knees wide. Butterfly, reclined position butterfly. Oh, maybe take some cleansing breaths here and just let it all go, sinking, melting into your mat. Then into one of my favorite poses, spinal twist. Knees stack over to the right side. Arms are in a T, and your gaze comes to the left. You can take a foot over and across if you want. Just make sure your knees and feet are angled to the right, your gaze is to the left, the arms are in a T. Again, just energizing the core, the body, the mind, the soul, the spirit, and then switch sides with your spinal twist. Gaze goes to the right, knees to the left. So yummy. Roll those knees in, rock and roll. Rock and roll is another one that feels really great on the spine. Rolling those kneecaps. Whatever feels good to you. You'll learn as you go what feels good. And just taking a foot across the knee, stretching out the back of the legs, the hamstrings. Other side. Little feet to the sky hamstring stretch here. And then happy baby. And we grab the outsides of our feet, stretching both feet up to the sky. And it feels good to me to take my feet over my head. If that doesn't work for you, that's okay. Just keep your feet elevated up to the sky. Gorgeous. Really beautiful. Flipping it over. Feels so good to stretch the belly out one more time in cobra or up dog. Toes on your mat, hands planted, and then lift on up. Shoulders off your ears. And pressing back to child's pose. Child's pose is a place we can come back to our breath, set an intention for our practice, or just close out our practice here today. Adding in anything else you need. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.